Hey there, my name is Crafty Kathy, and on my channel I have love, laughs, and DIYs. If you're returning to my channel, thank you so much, and if this is the first time that you've ever been here, hey, I would love to have you as part of my family. Hit that little red subscribe button and that bell beside it, and YouTube will let you know every single time I upload a video. Today I'm making the most delicious crock pot dressing. And did I mention this is the easiest recipe I have ever found and the tastiest recipe. Now this is a soft, good old southern cornbread dressing. Now if you like it a little firmer, I can show you how to make it too. But first you're going to need a big old skillet of cornbread, which is a big staple of all the southern dishes. I just used the Martha White buttermilk cornmeal mix to make mine. And I actually made 2 skillets this size because my skillet makes these little triangles. And it takes about 10 triangles. It's going to take you 4 cups of cornbread. And then we're going to just need some of these other ingredients here. I've got some white bread, some butter. It doesn't matter if it's salted or unsalted. 3 eggs. Some celery. You're going to need 2 cans of the cream of chicken soup. You're going to need some sage. It doesn't matter if it's rubbed sage, any kind of sage is fine, and an onion. And this is all the ingredients that you're going to need to make this delicious, mouth-watering recipe. Once again, the most important part of this recipe is going to be your cornbread. It doesn't matter what recipe you use for your cornbread or how you make it, but you're going to need 4 cups. You chop up your 1 cup of celery and your onion and you put that in your mixing bowl. I like to use a little chopper because it makes my pieces very small. So far you've got your onion and your celery. Then you're going to get your cornbread and you're going to crumple it up. And I just I like to make mine a little crisp. So when I just start crumpling it, it just crumples into small pieces. But once you get the wet ingredients in and start mixing everything, it really doesn't matter. And that's what we have so far is our onion and our celery. And then I'm just going to add these 4 cups of cornbread to my mixture. I also really like this recipe because it's so easy. It's dump and go. This is a recipe that my mama makes every year, and everybody that I have ever made this dressing for wants the recipe and they never go back to making it any other way. I'm just telling you, this stuff is amazing. You're going to take 3 pieces of bread. Now, I like to get the heel of the bread because it's got that crust all over it. And you're just going to pull it off into kind of bite-sized pieces, maybe a little bit smaller. It doesn't really matter. It's all going to be mixed up anyway. And you're just going to pull that bread apart and you're going to put your 3 slices of bread into your mixing bowl. Now the next thing that you're going to do is take your 1 stick of melted butter. Now my butter had been sitting on the warm stove for quite a while because I was heating my oven up. And so when I put it in my mixture and it touched the mixture and I just started to stir it, it was pretty much melted. But it's very important to have melted butter. Then you're just going to take your 3 eggs, crack those in to your mixture, and give everything a really good stir. Now my favorite part of the mixture is the sage. The recipe calls for about 2 tablespoons, but I just eyeball it. I always add my 2 tablespoons, but then I just sprinkle some more in because I love for it to have that good sagey flavor. Now, if you don't like it to have a good sagey flavor, you can always just use 1 tablespoon or just kind of eyeball it. Then you mix all of it up really good once again. I don't usually add my salt until the very end because I like to see at the end how much I'm going to need and kind of taste test it before I add it. But I do add just a little bit of pepper to taste before I start cooking and give everything one last final stir. And when everything's mixed up, this is what it's going to look like. It kind of looks like a bunch of mush, but man, it tastes like heaven. Okay, now here's the easy part. I use a small crock pot to make this because it's not a lot that I'm making. If you want more, double this recipe. All you're going to do is layer this. You're going to put down half of the can of cream of chicken soup. Then you're just going to spread it out in the bottom. Then you're going to take half of your mixture and you're going to put that on the top and then just kind of spread that around on the top of the soup. After that first layer, I put down 1 whole can of my cream of chicken. Then I'm going to add the rest of my mixture. Then the last step is to add the other half of that can of soup. So basically you do a half a can of soup, then you're going to do half of your mixture, then a whole can of soup, and the other half of your mixture, and to the very top it's going to be the other half of the can of soup. And that's all there is to putting it together. When you have everything ready in the crock pot, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to cook it on high for 1 hour, and then you cut it down to low for 2 hours, and you're done. And look at this delicious dish. This is all there is to it. Now, if you don't like the soft version of this, if you want it more firm, all you're going to have to do is just pop it in the oven on 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes instead of doing the crock pot. And that's it. But if you do cook it in the oven, remember it's going to be a little bit more dry, so you may want to add a little bit of chicken broth halfway through the process. But everyone that I've ever tried this on likes the softer version better, so it's just up to you and your preferences. Now this goes good with anything. My mom actually cooks chicken off of the bone and then pulls it apart and puts it on top of the dressing where the chicken's already cooked, and so you've got chicken and dressing in one crock pot done. Let me know if you try this recipe, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet for more DIYs and easy recipes like this one. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Sending you love, laughs, and DIYs.
My name is Crafty Bobby Joe, and Kathy got this recipe from me and told me to come on here to my show, because this is my show now. Kathy gave it to me. Yes, she did, Mama. She told me she gave it to me. She gave it to me and told me that if there's any big Hollywood producers watching and need somebody to cook for them, that I'm your gal, Crafty Bobby Joe. Now, I can do any kind of cooking you can imagine. Mama done taught me how to cook all kinds of recipes. I can cook Vienna weenies. I can cook sardines and potted meat. I can even cook polecat. Now, I can cook a possum, and I can cook hot dogs to make it taste like steak. So if you're a big Hollywood producer and you need somebody to cook for you, Bobby Joe is my name.